bench we got some goodies for the Clodbuster for the first stage of upgrades, and we've got the 880 electronic speed controller. I like that speed controller. I've already got one on my twin detonator. And with motors, I'm going the same way as Steve at Shen RC went, and I'm going with two 20 turn motors from RC4WD. They weren't too badly priced. I think I paid £26 delivered for the pair, which I think is quite good. In the process, I had to get some more connectors. So I've got 10 new connectors for ESCs. That keeps me going a bit longer. And also going in, we've got a ESS-One, which I've already pre-set up and everything ready to go. So we've got to modify the electrics and this, that and the other. So I'm going to get it working first, make sure it works and test all the motors out, and we'll go from there. Now, before going too mad, I've just temporarily put the plug on the socket because I'm going to be splicing wires into the cable for the sound unit. So both motors are running, so we've checked the ESC works fine. Now I can, like I said, take the wires off and do them properly, because it's easier to do it now and check and get right, and it's also easier not to have the plug on for doing the heat shrink. So there's just a little hint, so I'm going to get on with the soldering because there is a lot to do, which this is only going to be a jimmy rig for now, and then I'll be converting it. Probably these sockets, these are very loose, they don't work with the motors well. I could make them tighter, but the leads are short and they need quite long ones on the Clod. So what I'm going to do is put Dean's connectors on, and if I've got it, I'll run some new wires. Now, where I like splicing the wires in, as you can see, just about to see, that's the wire spliced in. I've got some heat shrink stretched past it, but the wire is the only thing with the strength and a thin bit of heat shrink. So what I do is I take a little bit of clear glue and I put it around the solder. Then I slide back a small piece of heat shrink, cook it on like so, and then half a piece goes over the top of that. And where we haven't gone too mad, we've got the clear glue in there, so that glues it all into one lump. So it makes, in my opinion, you don't have to do it, it is overkill, but that way you've got that drying inside to make it more solid. So that's pretty cool. And see, that's what you end up with, the wires really nicely spliced. They're in line for power. Easy to do because you just got to get the colours to match, which is a good thing. Now we can properly fit the terminals and get it all back, get it all into one piece for a test. Now, well, hopefully I've got it all set up correctly, and this is the main test of the wiring. The motor wires, they're easy to extend, it's just going to be plugs and more cable. So let's give this a go. Controller on. Oh, we got a beep from everything. Well, the sounds are working. I've now got the motors turning, it's got to be calibrated. Yeah, we we've only got them working in one direction, so at least we know it works. So I'll get the calibration done and we'll move on to the next stage. Sorry for how loud it is, but it is a sound unit. But yeah, it seems to be working, the wiring's fine. Now we're going to blank off some parts on the Clodbuster. I've got some blanking plates. I've took the wheels off in advance just to give us more, well, make it easier to work on and safer, especially when testing the motor directions out and everything. We want to get that right. There's the original tray. Let's take that out of the way for a sec. And then we'll look at what I've got blank wise. Because the thing is, I only do blanks for, sounds silly, for three of the holes. So I printed off what they had. But what I haven't got, well, we'll have to look into. Because the idea is I want to use different batteries, and the holder's not bad but limited, but it does jut out. So this is the blank for the clip-on one. We've got one for the side hole here. Which doesn't want to fit. I think I've got a bit of excess plastic from printing. Just a quick trim should hopefully help it. Hopefully that's it. That's going to take some working. That don't fit. That's a good start. And then we've got a blank for the little hole. Let's see where this goes. That one goes in, tight fit. Then we've got this for this, the main one. You've got a bracket. These are going to take some fettling, but that basically fits in there like so. The outer plate's okay, but the inner one's terrible. So I'm going to work on those off camera, because probably involve a lot of cursing now, where they are a poor fit, but we need them because I want to make it look tidier. And then we'll look into mounting the battery. Now, after a bit of fettling, we've got that blank in place, and we've got this one and the little one. They took a lot longer than I thought. Now we've got to strip off this one and make a blank, unless I can find something for it. Otherwise I'm going to have to do it myself, which is I can do. Takes a little bit of working out, but it won't be a hard print because it's just a flat plate. It won't need anything else on the other side, unless I decide to make a hump so it fits in the hole, if that makes sense. That's what we got a blank, so I'm going to get designing and sort that out. There we go, the patches are finished, so all the blanks are on. When I designed this, I was just a fraction off with the holes, so all I did was, a little trick is just go up 0.5 of a mil with a drill and go through the holes to loosen them, and it fitted. So now we've got it to this stage. We need to somehow mount the battery and the sound unit and everything inside. Right, so now we want it to run with a 2S LiPo, and we need to fit the ESS-One in. And here's the holder for the ESS-One. That goes in the front part. And then we've got the battery tray. That's what I made in 2 parts. So that gives us everything mounted all the way through. And it gives us a bit of room for doing the somewhere to put the receiver and the ESC. So, but like I said, making this in 2 parts, it fitted on the printer a lot easier. And then to link them, I made a couple of little screw-on bars, and it links it all together nicely. And then like a battery tray, not too deep, and it works perfectly with a Velcro strap. So let's get this all together and then go from there. And there we go, we've got one holder, and for the battery and the sound unit. Now we've got to work out these bits. Now the sound unit will fit nicely in like so. So we just need a couple of bits of tape out of the box. Now this is where a 3D printer comes into its own when you need parts, and as long as you can muddle your way through a bit of CAD, you can make useful parts. There we go, that's mounted in. The ESC, I will mount just inside, because I've got to be able to get to the screw holes to screw it to the chassis. That is one of the things, and we can go through the centre. These wires are not very long, that is a bit annoying. I haven't done a hole yet because I wanted to see how it fits, but allowing for that, we got plenty to put a hole round about there, so we'll mark it and drill through. Now amid all this chaos as I'm working, because I'm making things up as I go, I fitted Dean's connectors underneath, so it's easy to disconnect the motors and just pull the steering servo wire out to get it out of the way. I'm just making up an aerial, and this is a Tamiya aerial which I've cut the tab which it bolts off with normally. I've drilled it, and I'm going to screw it onto the chassis, or onto the plate I made, and that will give us an aerial. Nice simple little thing. So we'll have a little dumpy aerial, quite nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it all tidied up, all back together, and then show it off properly. There we go, the conversion is complete. I hope you like it. Like I said, I've put loads of screws in. I've used the full 8, so that's nice and solid here. You can see the battery is a really nice, perfect fit. Like I said, everything's in its place. Like I said, we've now got this little aerial using a little old bracket, so that's not too bad. That will do for me. But we've now got it on two 20-turn motors with the 0880 Hobbywing dual ESC, and it's tuned correctly now. I got it wrong, because be careful in doing this, not all are the same. Get it running with the ESC first correctly, that all the motors are running, then add the sound unit, and then you can program it correctly. Once that's done, and it will program to your radio nice. And that's what was causing my confusion. I had it the wrong way round and it weren't right. Now it starts off perfectly. We can turn on the radio, bit of power. So now all I need to do is charge a battery and take this out for a proper test. Maybe a bit more tuning on the electrics required, but I'm not doing that this second, because I think I want it to run a bit longer. And also, if I want to program it, there is like, it's programmable if we need to change it later down the line. But at the moment, we've got forwards backwards brake, which is correct, LiPo, these are the standard settings, cut off auto medium, max forward force we've got 100%, max reverse force 50, brake force 100, which is perfect for now, no drag brake. The neutral range I'm not touching, so I don't know. Punch is at level 5, which I think is plenty. We don't put full power through. 6-volt Beck, and freewheeling disabled. So we don't really need, I don't know if that'll make any difference, but like I said, it's things we can play with if we have to. But no, I'm happy with this, but let's get it out and see how much faster is it. Is it going to be much faster against the old one? Only time will tell. But it's not going to be huge, but it should have a lot more sort of torque.